Critics and viewers have wildly different reactions to the Super Mario Galaxy movie because there's nothing more video games than critics desperate for media with substance disagreeing with consumers that love flashing lights and loud sounds.
Oh, we love it. Bruce, don't forget, we got our funny voices too. Oh no, the critics hated my movie.
That's pretty good. I sound like Chris Pratt.
Thanks.
We have more than cutting a cinematic commentary for you on this week's Inside Games Roundup. Bungie hints at coming changes to their extraction shooter marathon. You can now subscribe to an all-indie Game Pass if you want. And Thick as Thieves is completely shifting its game type before it even launches.
Bananas. I saw previews for that game. Yeah. Hey, at least for once, we're not reporting on thousands of developers losing their jobs. So let's throw to the one Inside Game staffer that's technically never been legally employed, Brian Garr.
That's right. Been selling Legos on eBay my entire life. That's 90% of my income. All right, boys, let's talk about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. It's out, but critics, they're not, it's no bellissima. It is currently at a 40% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, with them calling it a not great follow-up to the first film. The San Jose Mercury News wrote, "It gets tiring. Returning directors Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic hit us with one action rush after another that never allows any of their characters room to breathe or come to life."
Sounds like a kid's movie to me. Vulture said that, quote, like being asphyxiated in a ball pit filled with candy, which is what children love, the experience of watching the Super Mario Galaxy movie is at once kaleidoscopic and nerve-wracking.
Sounds like all these critics are far too sober for this movie. You gotta dumb it down a little bit. Roll that IQ back. And finally, YouTube critic Mark Kermode said simply, it's not good.
But what do they know? You know what? The people who matter the most, viewers, seem to like it very much. I checked and it has a 90% score from fans on Rotten Tomatoes, so there you go.
Okay, all right. Writing on Fandango, audience reviewer Nathan said, quote, "We brought the whole family. We all had such a good time, packed with Easter eggs, and the animation was awesome."
Seems like we're having some differing standards here. I want to have a good time versus is this art?
All right, but elsewhere in Nintendo rumor land, reports suggest that they're lining up a pretty big year for Star Fox and The Legend of Zelda, but weirdly not Mario.
According to sources cited by VGC and insider Nate the Hate, a new classic-style Star Fox game could arrive as soon as this summer for the Switch 2, alongside a major remake of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time later in the year to mark the series' 40th anniversary.
There's no plans for a new 3D Mario at all in terms of a video game, which sources say have been pushed to 2027. It's been a while, I think, since we've had a new Mario, right?
Yeah, Odyssey in 2017? Mario Brothers Wonder, it is a 2D Mario, but it's very, very good, but nobody seemed to care. I don't know. I think, weirdly, in Nintendo's roster, the Mario brand is probably one of the less important ones right now, especially compared to like Star Fox or Animal Crossing. Or sorry, no, not Star Fox, my God. Like Pokemon or Animal Crossing. Good Lord. No one cares about Star Fox. That's weird.
Enjoy the comments, Lawrence.
There's something fun when Star Fox fans get upset. They're fun little, it's like it's like a small dog that's just, it's just fuming, but something about its anger is just so adorable. So Star Fox fans get mad.
They're like chihuahuas that think they can fight a Great Dane. Yeah.
Exactly, yes.
Moving on, let's talk about Bungie. They're teasing some changes for their sci-fi extraction shooter marathon with a new patch set to give one of its lesser-loved characters a little boost.
Oh, the update, version 1.0.6, arrives April 14th. Part of the game's mid-season refresh, and will focus in part on improving Recon, a lower-tier shell. That's the game's version of a hero class in this case.
Yeah, the problem is Recon's ultimate ability, Echo Pulse, which is kind of lame right now. It'll soon be able to distinguish between AI-controlled enemies and real players, something that's been a source of confusion. Yeah, right now it just puts a blip, and that's it, and you have to guess.
Yeah, another fix targets Recon's tracker drone, which can get stuck on walls or lost in corners. The update promises improved tracking behavior, including the ability to switch targets if the original one escapes range.
Yeah, this was a shell I was actually really interested in when I first started playing Marathon, and it just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. So hopefully it looks like they're going to do some changes. Bungie also says more changes are on the way in the patch, with additional details expected closer to launch. In the meantime, a smaller recent update addressed several issues, including an exploit tied to slide canceling and equipment swapping. Lawrence, you're a Marathon God gamer. How did that go?
Oh yeah, the slide canceling thing. I think that was with Thief. Basically, you could slide cancel into a jump and then immediately grapple, and you would carry all the momentum from your slide and cancel out most of the heat from using it because the grapple doesn't use anything. And then it would reset the grapple usage. So yeah, Thieves could just fling themselves all around the map. But man, that game's great. I got Marathon fever. I've now played through Classic Marathon, and I'm probably gonna start Marathon 2 today. So I'm in it, man. That lore is wacky.
And moving on, there's a new subscription service on the way because we all needed a new one. This is for people whose Steam libraries are already 80% games they bought for $3 and never opened. All right, that's about me.
Indie.io has announced Indie Pass, a $7 per month service launching April 13th. They will offer access to more than 70 indie titles at the start, with more promised over time.
Fun. It's basically a smaller take on something like Xbox Game Pass, but focused entirely on indie games. Neato.
Early lineup is stuff like Echoes of the Plum Grove, Air Hairs, and Dark Deity, and the company says their catalog will keep evolving as they add more games and partnerships with developers.
Man, that's like deep indie. That's not even like indie that people would know. You know, like
That's right.
they may want to like pick out a game or two that people would know.
Can we add Super Meat Boy or something in there? Yeah.
So anything, just something like that, yeah.
Funny you mentioned that. Super Meat Boy is on Game Pass right now, but we'll get there.
Oh.
But yeah, I guess this next game might have a shot at being on Indie Pass someday. Deus Ex creators Thick as Thieves drops their PvPvE game type and has switched just to solo and co-op.
Yeah, a new game from Warren Spector is getting a pretty significant overhaul before it reaches players. Other Side Entertainment says its upcoming stealth game, Thick as Thieves, is moving away from its PvPvE format and will instead focus on single player and two-player co-op.
It sounds a lot like it was going to be Extraction, and they decided, let's do co-op and solo, which, by the way, I'm totally fine with. I think that's cool. The studio said the shift came after realizing during development that solo and cooperative play were simply more fun, allowing the team to lean into what it calls the game's dynamic stealth gameplay.
That's really interesting. According to the developer, the changes already improved moment-to-moment action in testing, whether playing alone or with a partner.
Other Side plans to show off more of Thick as Thieves at next week's III Initiative Showcase ahead of its expected release this year on PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC.
That's really interesting because I thought they had a game type that was relatively unique. I saw a demo of it at Summer Game Fest last year, and essentially it was like 3 teams of thieves all trying to rob the same house at the same time. And if you saw other thieves, you could mess with them or draw guard attraction to them, or like let other thieves steal shit for you, and then you rob them at the extract. So it was a neat idea, and it seemed to be coming together. So it's weird to think about that paired entirely back to a much more traditional thief experience, where you just raid or like a Dishonored kind of game where you just raid a big castle and get a lot of gems and stuff. So yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how it's evolving.
It's also interesting. It's interesting when games like switch genres like that. Like, wasn't Crimson Desert supposed to be an MMO at first, and then they're just like, it's gonna be Skyrim now or something.
What people said, yeah.
All right, let's do a 5-second review. Speaking of MMOs, I got into WoW Classic Hardcore mode over...
Wait, what? You've done this before,
no,
Brian. You reviewed WoW Classic.
Not hardcore, because I can play it on my Mac Air traveling. And
oh my God.
I have never gotten a character past 16, I don't think. I'm terrible at it, but I like hardcore modes because it's like, they're like roguelikes. Each character is a different story, and they all end with me having a few beers and thinking to myself, like, all right, watch this. and then I start a new one.
Deep sigh. Forever living in the first hour and a half of playing World of Warcraft. I love it.
Love those starter areas.
Great flow and good music. You can't argue with them. Well, maybe we can tempt Brian away from World of Warcraft with some free video games. That's right. Times are tough out there in the video game breadlines. So Inside Games is on your side to let you know what games you can play for free this weekend. Some of them are not technically free because they're subscription based, but whatever. First off is actually free Subnautica. You can just play it for free on Steam, so get at it. Epic is also giving away Clone Drone in the Danger Zone and Tomac Save the Earth Regeneration. Very cool. Amazon Prime subscribers can also snag a kind of a big grip of good games this week. XCOM, Enemy Unknown Complete Pack, Total War, Pharaoh Dynasties, Chimp Quest, Spirit Isle, Total War 3 Kingdoms, Deep Sky Derelicts, and Fantasy Memorial Set.
Last call for the PlayStation Plus March games here. PGA Tour 2K25, Monster Hunter Rise, Slime Rancher 2, and the Elder Scrolls Online Collection Gold Road. You actually have until April 6th to add those to your library, so go do it.
And Xbox console gamers, this is pretty cool. Hold on to your butts with both hands. You can play 6 Assassin's Creed games for free this weekend. No subscription. That's AC Valhalla, Unity, Odyssey, Origins, and Syndicate. But BG, that's only 5. Well, guess what? You can also play Mirage, but that's limited to a 2-hour trial during the free play period for some reason, but still, pretty good deal.
Yeah. Their Game Pass also picked up a slew of games if you're subscribed to that. You got The Long Dark, Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, Barbie Horse Trails, and Super Meat Boy 3D. Those are all available now on console and PC. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has been added to Game Pass Premium, which I guess is the middle tier for subscribers on console. And finally, PC Game Pass players, hold on to your socks, because now you can download NBA 2K26 and Microsoft Bubble. Microsoft Bubble, everybody. Microsoft Bubble.
What the hell is Bubble?
I think it's like Bubble Bobble or Puzzle Bobble, where you have to shoot the ball up and match the colors and then they pop.
Oh,
I loved Bubble Bobble.
they made a Microsoft Bubble. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole slew of like what they call Microsoft casual games. And for some reason, they're getting iteratively added to Game Pass. You can get Xbox achievement points playing Bubble, so get into it.
I was thinking they just bought Bubble Bobble for like $2 billion.
Let's move on to the upcoming games for this week. First up, Naren, The Orange Room. The third-person adventure horror game. You play as Naren, a young girl whose sister mysteriously disappeared. Help her find her sister in the Twilight Dimension, solve the mystery, and uncover the truth. Comes to PC April 7th.
People of Note. Great title for a music game. In this turn-based RPG musical, join Cadence as she recruits an ensemble of musicians on her quest for stardom. Experience turn-based combat like never before, where each battle is a musical performance with evolving combat conditions and genre-bending mashup attacks. Comes to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, and the PC, April 7th.
Next, we've got Signal Zone. Defend your base against increasingly dangerous enemy waves each night in this minimalist survival strategy. Mine resources, build and repair defenses, and upgrade your structures, tools, and abilities to survive in this harsh world. Signal Zone comes to PC on April 7th.
Be careful the way you say this next one, okay? Annulus. I'm going to say it right. Annulus. Unique dark fantasy tactical game. Annulus. You'll play the role of the head of a mercenary regiment, constantly collect and cultivate resources such as mercenaries and weapons with unique attributes, and create their own mercenary regiment. Survival and glory. The battle is endless in your Annulus. PC, iOS, and Android on April 8th.
Another great name. Chainstaff is a brutal action platformer with a transforming spear and grappling hook, blazing weapon upgrades, and a rockin' soundtrack. Aliens have attached to your head. Oh no, swing, shoot, and spear your way through mutating hordes and bone-shaking boss fights, and get this thing off your head. Comes to PC, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC, April 8th.
Video games are okay. I've been excited for this one. Samson. Samson returns to Tindleston, God, I hope not. A city that shaped him hard, where every fight is close and every escape is earned. He owes dangerous people more than he can pay, and they're using his sister to force his hand. The clock is ticking. The only way out is through anyone who stands in his way. Samson comes to PC on April 8th.
The House of Hikmah is a fully voice-acted, narrative-driven 3D adventure game exploring grief, legacy, and the search for answers after profound loss. Solve puzzles, encounter historical scholars of the Islamic Golden Age, and uncover timeless lessons in a beautifully imagined House of Wisdom. Comes to PC April 8th.
And last but not least, Pokemon Champions. Get ready to experience everything you love about Pokemon battles all in one place in Pokemon Champions. This new battle-focused game will feature familiar mechanics such as Pokemon types, abilities, and moves, creating an environment conducive to rich and varied strategies for new and experienced trainers alike. Comes to the Switch April 8th.
Well, that'll do it for this surprisingly upbeat Inside Games Roundup. It was a true pleasure reading some decent news to y'all for a change. Thank you very much for watching. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done it yet. And shoutouts to all our patrons that support us every week. You'll see their names in a moment. And also shoutouts to Shooklin's great soundtrack that he's providing for the show. So thank you very much. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time on Inside Games.